Hey everyone, welcome to episode 33 of the Comic Boot. I'm Kalen.
I'm Cody.
Cody's a long ways away. Get closer, dude.
It's not gonna be quiet, so I wasn't gonna try to make a bunch of noise.
What the fuck is that?
It's my hat.
Not in my house.
I'm sorry.
What? I'm
It's
James.
It's a Cardinals hat, and James hates the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I have no strong opinions one way or the
Sports
other.
ball, as Maher puts it.
Sports
Your
ball?
sports ball match.
Sports-
He gets on to me and Ken Hussey, our poli-sci teacher, all the time, because I'll go into class. Like this morning I went in, he goes, "How about that game last night?" And I'm like, "Yeah, the Cubs lost. I get it." And I was like, "Took a miracle in the ninth for you, though." And Mayor's like, "Oh my God, what are you guys talking about sports ball for?"
Wait, so the Cubs aren't in the World Series anymore?
The regular season just started yesterday.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's baseball.
I don't care
That's not what we're
either.
doing.
No.
So, did you say episode 33?
Yes.
Yes, he did all that already.
Episode 33, or in Spanish, Trace Trace.
33?
I
See,
got a B, alright?
I'm bilinguals. Dude, I saw the funniest thing on Facebook today. It was this dude with no shirt doing a comedy skit talking about him taking Russian in college at Florida State.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I got to share that with you guys later. It is incredible.
Fun.
Yeah. Did you see I changed the banner on Facebook?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, because that's the next big movie that comes out, Guardians of the Galaxy. Because every post I looked at all of our past posts on Facebook for like the last month, and it's all DC.
Gee, I wonder who did that.
Hey, I put you in charge of Facebook.
And yet that doesn't stop you.
Somebody's gonna post something. Let me get to. So we're here. We're talking about. This is Tuesday. What would that be? The 4/4/17.
Yes.
And we are here to talk about some news because this week has been absolutely insane with news.
Yeah.
And a lot of social media blowback for a lot of news, especially coming out of DCEU camp.
Yep.
Not much.
There's always blowback from DCEU.
And we have some big time MCU versus Sony news, which I'd like to share.
Yeah.
We also have a casting for Venom. We're going to talk about some Rogue One Blu-ray release. We're going to talk about where Jason Momoa is spending the rest of his spring and summer. We're also going to talk about Power Rangers since it's been 2 weeks and we all love that goddamn movie.
Yes.
To the point where I know you and I have seen it twice.
Yes.
And then we're also going to talk about the hype around some WonderCon footage that DCEU brought to the table with Wonder Woman and Justice League. So, start this thing out, man. The biggest news, I think, of the week that we're going to hear about is the Crown Prince of Firefly moving over to DCEU. And Joss Whedon is writing, directing, and producing
Batgirl.
which I am stoked for, and not a lot of people on social media are stoked for. I know you're stoked for it. How do you feel, Cody?
Dude, I'm down for it. If they're gonna have anybody write a strong female character, it's Joss Whedon. That's what he does.
See, he hasn't even been here for most of our conversations, and he knows it.
He knows.
It's Joss Whedon. Like, that's literally what his thing is, and he's good at it.
He spent his entire career writing strong female characters in the realm of sci-fi and kind of horror.
Yeah, well, I mean, Alien kind of horror.
Alien and
Cabin
Buffy.
in the Woods.
Buffy.
Well, Buffy is bubblegum horror.
It's vampires, people die.
If it's horror or sci-fi with a little bit of humor thrown in, and it's actually pretty smart humor for the most part. I mean, there's some dumb humor in Buffy,
well, it's
but I
fucking
mean,
Buffy. But did he write the movie too?
He wrote, he's credited for writing the movie in 1995.
So he wrote the movie and the entire series,
Paul
and
Rubens
Angel,
bad guy movie,
and Angel,
And Angel.
Angel was good.
And Firefly. And
and
Dollhouse.
and Serenity, and Dollhouse,
And the two Avengers
Alien
movies.
Resurrection.
I think people really dropped off with Joss Whedon with Age of Ultron.
Well, but
That wasn't even his fault.
No,
No.
and that's the thing that people don't. Marvel's cinematic universe can do no wrong.
It's
Remember,
always the other guy.
It's always-
with
It's
Age
always
of
somebody
Ultron.
else.
It's always the guy that wrote Ant-Man's fault.
Edgar Wright?
Edgar Wright. It's always Edgar Wright's fault, man. That's why we didn't have Ant-Man sooner. Fucking Edgar Wright.
No, dude.
I would have loved to see like his Ant-Man because I love Edgar Wright.
Can we take his script and adapt it to make him make him write the Atom movie and then incorporate that into the DC.
That would be fucking hilarious. DC just rescues everybody from Marvel.
They have been.
Their gates are open. They're like, come, my children.
We know that your life has been full of struggle. Come to the promised land.
Well,
Give us you're weak, you're poor, you're hungry.
Well, one issue people have with Age of Ultron is the relationship between Bruce and Natasha.
Well, that's fine, but it's whatever.
But I don't really see that as that's probably one of the more interesting couplings I've seen in Marvel.
Because you got to be able to control the monster in that movie.
Well, not only that, I think it's an interesting dichotomy that you have these two people who are like drawn to each other, but they both see themselves as monsters in two completely different ways.
But you want to talk about strong female character.
Black Widow, who...
Well, it's not only that, but a woman is controlling the monster.
Yeah.
How strong? I mean, that's incredibly powerful.
All these people go up against the Hulk, and all he does is, like, Natasha just has to give him a look, and he starts calming down immediately.
Right, and hold out her hand or whatever, but that's neither here nor there. That's Age of Ultron. I'm sure that...
and even in the first Avengers, I will argue this till I'm blue in the face, she did more with less than anybody else in that movie.
Her and Clint Barton.
He was mind-controlled for... he did stuff, it was for Loki.
Yeah, but still.
He did a lot more in the sequel, though. And he did a lot in the sequel.
But to see her in the first... It was a story that I think he was trying to tell between the two of them. If he's ultimately responsible for the relationship, or if that's something that Marvel Cinematic, the Marvel Studios dropped on him.
Yeah, like an executive is like, hey, I want there to be a relationship somewhere.
But even that, it worked.
So choppy, though.
But it worked. Like, he built that relationship from the first Avengers movie whenever the Hulk is
because she was sent to go after him.
Well, it's not only that, but the Hulk is beating down the helicarrier while she's, like, backing away and terrified of this monster.
Yes.
And then it goes into this relationship, and now she can control him, and talk about a strong female, and you won't hear me, stroking the underside of Marvel that often, but they got that right, I think, at least. But not only that, I think that Joss Whedon with not only Buffy, but fucking Dollhouse, which is a show that lasted, 2 seasons? 3 seasons? Yeah, with Eliza Dushku, and, he specializes in strong females. Especially in the sci-fi world.
Yeah.
That's where he operates.
I'm of the opinion that there was probably no stronger emotional scene in Age of Ultron, specifically, than the conversation between Bruce and Natasha.
Oh, at the farmhouse? Yeah,
because
that's pretty heavy.
He doesn't want to have kids because he's afraid.
Well, he can't have kids because the gamma radiation sterilized him, and she can't have kids because the Red Room forcibly removed her womb. And that's really intense for a Marvel movie, at least. And not only that, but Joss Whedon. How many other shows can you think of where a prostitute is portrayed in a very positive light?
Yeah.
Morena Baccarin, Firefly. She was essentially a prostitute, and she was portrayed as educated, strong-willed,
and she controlled the captain, whatever his name was.
Oh yeah, and he was the only. She was the only reason why he could really get around because she was paying him rent to use the side ship.
It was her money that was
right, and. No one else really does that. Every time we see a prostitute in a movie or a TV show, they're haggard and my life is terrible.
You may
everything's good.
Yeah, the last strong prostitute that we saw was Jesus' side piece.
Mary Magdalene.
A little too close to home, maybe. I don't know.
I was actually going to say Charlize Theron.
Julia Roberts still required Richard Gere to do everything for her.
No one heard what I said.
You mean My Fair Lady?
No. Yes. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
I said Charlize Theron.
What is she from?
Monster.
I never saw Monster.
Eileen Wuornos, the serial killer.
Never saw it.
Ah.
Yeah. So Joss Whedon has, and the thing is that this news broke this week, but you don't start writing a script until, you don't start writing a script unless you're getting paid to write a script, basically.
Yeah, unless you're under contract.
Right, and so he's been under contract to do this, and he has a script in hand.
So it's kind of nice that, after Age of Ultron, he quit working for the MCU.
Because he quit him off.
He quit Twitter because the fans were, getting all over him about stuff that probably wasn't even his fault to begin with.
No, they made him chop that movie.
Yeah. I think he wanted to be, 3 hours?
Long.
Yeah, it was really long.
Stupidly long.
Which it should be, though.
Yeah.
A big piece that has all these fucking team superhero stuff needs to be that long. Dude, like, well, I remember going to see Malcolm X whenever it came out in theaters. That's how old I am. Denzel Washington's Malcolm X.
Yeah.
And they gave us a freaking
intermission. You got one at they gave you one at Titanic too.
Oh, yeah, Titanic definitely needed
here's the intermission.
You had to have it because that movie's so long.
So, but yeah, Joss Whedon.
For Avatar. And Avatar was.
Yeah, I think that they're a thing of the past now. I think people are used to sitting on their fucking asses for 4 hours.
I think it's funny that 2001: A Space Odyssey, the home release, still has the intermission in it.
Does it really?
It's a black screen, and in white lettering it just says intermission for like 5 or 10 minutes.
That's awesome. Popcorn time.
It's in the movie.
Like, popcorn time.
But yeah, I think people are used to it. I mean, because Justice League is 3 hours 1 minute, or did they edit that down?
Yeah.
No, some of the comments I've seen.
They confirmed it for Justice League that it's that long.
What, 3 hours?
Over 3 hours, yeah.
Some of the other comments I've seen on Tumblr, at least, people are thinking that he's going to do something like what they did in Batgirl Sex in the Gotham City.
Which is, okay.
The Killing Joke.
For those of you
the first 40 minutes of
the first 40 minutes of The Killing Joke. And I'm like, okay, why would Joss Whedon, who probably knows these characters very well, want to pair Babs with Bruce when there's Dick Grayson?
Yeah, because they've already announced Nightwing is happening.
Yeah.
I feel like this might be kind of a launching point for Dick Grayson as a character too, though.
Well, it depends on which one comes out first.
Yeah, and I mean,
that's
Barbara
true.
can hold her own.
Well, no, I mean more of a, like, he might cameo in it so we get an idea of who's playing him.
That's it. Well, but that's the thing too. It depends on which one comes out first. But the way that I think that Nightwing and Batgirl are going to work, and the way I kind of want it to work, and I mean, I may be off my kilter, but I would love to see them just jump back and forth in between movies, and then have one like big team up movie against a common enemy or something at some point in time.
Didn't you say that Jared Leto might be the main villain?
They're trying to tap Leto as the main villain for Batgirl.
I thought, okay, so he has not left the DCEU. That's all rumors, right?
There's never been. No, he's no.
Okay. Because there's like
that
all
was
this
ignorant fucking social media, man. Don't believe shit on social media.
People keep going around saying that he's like not going to be in it anymore, or that they're going to recast him, and I don't think they're going to.
That's whatever. Recast him. I don't give a shit. They recast so many people in comic book movies. It just happens. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it now.
Oh yeah, they've been through 3 Hulks now.
Hulk, War Machine. You know, it's everything. But the first Hulk wasn't part of this. Universe, but
the Eric Bana Hulk.
I still liked Eric Bana Hulk. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so Joss Whedon also wrote X-Men.
Astonishing X-Men, the comic book,
which is good.
Is a team led by
a woman.
Frost.
Yep.
So there, we can relate that back to comic books in the flip pages sense. Another thing that is breaking as of this last week is Sony has contacted Marvel Studios and said, you know that web slinger guy? Yeah, we want him back. So the idea of a Spider-Man trilogy inside the MCU is
no go.
Likely.
So you're just gonna get this Tom Holland Spider-Man in Civil War, Spider-Man Homecoming, and the Infinity War.
And that's it.
And then he's going back to Sony for good.
Yeah, but Tom Holland is under contract with Marvel.
Well, he can't be somebody else.
No, but I'm just saying that they're not going to let him go and work for Sony as Spider-Man, I bet.
No. I mean,
unless they buy out his contract. But that's something for, 6-7 years down the line.
I doubt it. I mean, this is what, our 3rd Spider-Man? I wouldn't be surprised if they recast Peter Parker.
They just stop making Spider-Man movies, man.
For a while.
I mean, come on.
Like, they're doing a Venom movie.
That's next on the list.
I saw an idea that someone had that they should use Miles Morales Spider-Man as the...
Actually, that's what Sony should do, is that they should just stop doing the Peter Parker thing and focus on Miles Morales, if they have the rights to it.
People who only watch the movies are not going to know who he is.
Fuck him. That's what I have to
Introduce
say.
him.
Yeah.
They know who Peter Parker is. The whole story about Prowler breaking into Parker Industries and the spider jumping on his suit and then biting Miles. I mean, introduce it. Do an origin story with Miles Morales. I would love to see that shit.
I mean, I think we've all seen Uncle Ben get shot enough.
Yeah, just like we've seen the Waynes get shot enough.
Yeah.
See, that's one nice thing with Homecoming is they're not going to show that.
Good. Unless they do a